Fear Hides Here, published to YouTube in July of 2021, this investigative team encountered something sinister. While investigating in broad daylight, the crew only just enters the creepy abandoned house when a scary loud racket is heard.
Um mau cheiro insuportável. Pelo amor de Deus. Mas nem chegamos aqui, o que foi isso?
Something is thrown against the wall in another room and sounds like it breaks apart. In one room, the investigators break out an EMF sensor, which starts beeping dramatically when it's held up toward one part of the ceiling.
Ah, será que dá pra olhar aqui em cima, aqui, ó? Ó, parei.
One of the crew boosts another up to the crawl space in the ceiling to see what's triggering the device. It looks like the crawl space was being lived in at one point, as a pair of shoes and a book or pamphlet is up there amongst the soot and garbage. As they realize the book is a diary, banging is heard in the next room. Something is opening and closing the door.
Tá cheio de nome, mano.
Caramba, cara.
Foi isso, cara?
Não sei, foi só pegar isso aqui.
Olha aqui a porta, cara. Olha a porta.
Nossa, velho. Que isso, mano?
It looks like the hidden figure doesn't want that diary to be read. The cameraman checks outside, but there's nothing. A short while later, another bang is heard, and that's when the diary spontaneously combusts. Cameraman is holding the diary when a corner of the paper catches fire. He throws it to the ground in surprise.
Ô, vamos ficar esperto, porque aqui é eternite, mano. Se varar alguma coisa aqui. Olha lá, ali, ó, tá caindo ali, ó. Caramba, cara. Ei, ô, o negócio. Oxi, velho.
Pegou fogo do nada?
When he picks it back up, a glass breaks in the next room.
Nossa, cara. Cara, o negócio começou a pegar fogo aqui do nada. Tem uns símbolos aqui, ó.
Ali, ó.
O que tá escrito aí em volta desse símbolo?
Puta que pariu, o que é isso?
Velho.
Causing him to throw it down again. When they gain the courage to pick it up again, another bang is heard, although its source remains unseen.
Tinha um Lúcio Te Adoro por aqui. Toma, filho.
Caramba, cara.
Olha aqui, que é isso?
Nossa,
Puta
cara.
que pariu.
Nossa, mano. As abelhas.
Mano, será que... Nossa, mano.
They enter another room, clearly afraid of what's going on around them and the entity that they've made angry.
Será que
Sai
esse...
da porta, espera ela se esconder um pouco, velho.
Que jeito, cara. Aqui, o negócio tá caindo aqui, velho. Aqui, ó.
Aqui é laje, vem aqui, aqui é laje. Vem pra cá.
Puta que pariu, a casa vai cair, mano.
Feio, a gente ficou... Vai ficar preso aqui um tempo, mano.
Later, they are simply standing in a room capturing video when a fire lights beneath one crew member's feet unbeknownst to him.
E agora, velho?
Tá pegando fogo aí, feio.
Another runs towards him and pulls him away, and the fire goes out on its own. For the grand finale, they enter the main room, and one of the crew appears to see something in a gap in the roof. A scary shadow leaves the gap as something breaks, causing the crew to vacate the premises ASAP.
Caraca, feio.
Mano, vamos como é que é? E agora, cara? Ali, ó. Puta que pariu. Vamos.
Nossa, mano.
Nossa, velho. Vai, sai.
Corre.
Vai, cara. Sai.
What was in that diary? Something incriminating? We'll never know because the spirit doesn't want us to. A Reddit user named Ponzi Flauns hears something outside of his home that leaves him too afraid to move. Listen to this part and tell me if you hear a creepy woman's voice carrying a twisted tune. The haunting melody repeats over and over again, growing louder each time. There's no way that this is an animal. One person commented that this sounds like it could be an opera, and I can't say that they're wrong. Listen again.
Like, what is that?
Then you hear what sounds to me like a cry for help. and the singing never returns. If I lived in that house, I would be immediately locking all the doors and windows. A YouTuber named Visually Creeped TV is walking around a cemetery in Wisconsin when he hears creepy whistling from within a crypt that is locked and 100 years old. Take a look and try to tell me which direction you think it's coming from.
Let's go walk down here. What the f?
The only thing I find odd is that he initially looks in the opposite way of the crypt. When he first hears the noise, if the whistle was truly coming from inside of the crypt, I think he would instinctively turn the other way. He quickly walks around the crypt to verify no one is around, and then he hears the whistle again, this time where he just was moments ago.
Oh, like right behind me. Hello?
Overall, there's no easy way to fake this video. It doesn't really sound like speakers or anything like that, and it does sound like it's coming from inside of this structure, but the gates are chained shut. A Redditor named RadLad1 made a 3-post series about a possible ghost lurking in his closet. In the first video, he stands outside and hears a dripping noise. It's very quiet, so I'll boost the sound for you to better hear. That sounds like it could be a leaky pipe or something, but look what happens when he goes to open it.
Okay, that's not...
His hand isn't even touching anything when there's a knock from the other side. The question is whether this is a spirit or just someone he knows. The first video piqued Reddit's interest, so he began documenting more. The spirit is in a foul mood on a different night and the noises grow persistent. RadLad1 finds himself reluctantly standing before his haunted closet once again. The air sounds charged with electricity and carries with it a distant wail, and that's when he notices the door is slightly ajar. Okay, so this could be fake, and the second person could be inside the closet, but wouldn't the shadow of their arm show against the wall here when they slam the door? I see nothing. By now, paranormal activity during the day too, whereas before it was just late at night. Everyone is demanding he open the closet and show them what's inside, and he waits until it starts making noises to prove to everyone, once and for all, that this closet is quite haunted. There's absolutely nothing inside but this creepy doll, which says everything I need to know. However, shortly before he opens the closet, there's a brief moment where he zooms out of focus. This could be where he stopped recording to let his friend out, then zoomed back into focus to make it look like a continuous take, but it looks pretty real to me. When you're arguing whether a shirt is red or maroon, the ghosts in your presence will know they've had enough of you two. Published to YouTube in May of 2020, this is what happens when a ghost gets fed up with your bickering, throws up his hands and storms out of the house he's haunting. The uploader explains that during their last visit to this place, they experienced the door slamming but didn't have a chance to record it, so this time they returned to capture it on film. This video is cut down to 3 minutes of the 50 that were recorded. The clip shows the boys arguing whether or not one of their shirts is red before deciding to call it quits with the filming, since it had been nearly an hour. Just then, something clearly slams in the distance. The uploader says his friend thought it was the hinges of the door rather than a ghost, but decides that the video is proof it wasn't the hinges. He also claims that he and a friend saw a shadow person in this building as well. The uploader writes, "Something said that it could have been air in the last upload, but I wasn't sure. The thing, if it was air, it would have opened it. The air is coming from outside, so it would push out to open. Instead, what we caught was a ghost slamming the door the opposite direction of where the air was coming from. So the force of the door slamming was going against the air. This was filmed in Harlingen, Texas, and there wasn't much airflow in the place according to the uploader. The group was sweating from so much stale heat. Well, maybe the ghost was too. On April 8th, 2018, a group of 7 friends traveled to a large tunnel in Mira Mesa, California that is legendarily haunted. Thumps, whispers, and even the voice of a little girl who may have been trapped during a flood are all said to be heard down there. So it comes as no surprise when they start hearing moans before they even get inside, possibly warning them to come no closer.
See, they're open. No.
They are barely deep inside at all when I hear a girl yelling something here at 6 minutes and 30 seconds. They go further and soon need their lights to see. They keep hearing whispers, but they aren't sure if it's the wind or water, so they are taking extremely small steps at this point to hear every sound. Everyone is being as quiet as they can, and that's when they hear 2 loud footsteps right in the middle of their group that none of them make. Something is standing with them. And this raspy whisper does not sound like any of them at all.
Someone's talking. I'm not kidding, dude.
By now, they feel surrounded by spirits, and they may have really gone way too far. They talk about turning around, but decide they didn't drive 2 hours all the way out here to turn around now, and that's when something makes their decision for them. What's crazy is that these footsteps don't even echo. Definitely paranormal. The group goes running back, but even though they are terrified, they can't resist going a little further and seeing what's ahead of them one last turn. That's when they find an overhead pipe that is essentially small and slimy, and their light explorers above. I think they might finally see a spirit here at 2 minutes and 38 seconds. It looks almost like it's wearing an old helmet of some kind, or maybe it was just his light bouncing off the walls. He returns the next month on May 9th with different friends and even higher expectations than before. Expectations that are met and exceeded. Voices again greet them at the entrance, and you can hear a girl's voice really clearly here after he's finished talking about how scared this place makes him.
Really dark right now. I'm scared. Oh my gosh, they can't flash a light in front of my face. It's too bad.
This time they are more prepared and assign someone to keep guard behind them so they aren't surprised again. After 6.5 minutes, something new happens. Technical difficulties with the camera could be from electromagnetic disturbances given off by paranormal energy whenever a particularly powerful spirit is near, and I don't think it's a coincidence that they hear this deep and loud groan exactly 1 minute later.
Okay. I told you I wasn't kidding, dude. You told me to.
They are all getting really scared at this point, so they grow quiet and press on. They reach the same part of the tunnel where they heard running footsteps before, and again hear something in front and behind.
Scared of the water to like surprise.
Okay, now we heard it from both sides. All right, let's go.
Not wanting to join the ranks of the spirits below, they quickly get out of there before anything more serious happens. I think at this point, after watching 2 different group of friends going from skeptical to scared out of their minds, we can definitely conclude that the Mira Mesa tunnel is beyond haunted. Both videos don't have a lot of views despite being more than a year old, so the fact that he would drive 2 hours to visit the place again says to me that he is doing this because it's genuinely haunted instead of trying to make a viral video. All in all, there's over half an hour of raw footage between the 2 trips that's worth taking a look at. There really are too many paranormal moments for me to cover in one countdown. A YouTuber named Johnny B. Good goes ghost investigating at an underground memorial deep in the woods to see if they can uncover any evidence of the paranormal. They notice these rocks are in a strange formation that I think could have been used for some kind of black magic.
These rocks were placed here in a circle once, in this one corner. Why is there a hole right there?
Sure enough, holes are in 2 corners of the room. Could this be part of the spell? They ask if this place is a portal, and look what their K2 meter does in response.
Is that a gateway to you?
Yeah, okay.
And here's where it goes from creepy to downright sinister. Their UV light detects 2 blotches of fluid. They could have come from some kind of vein opening ritual that never should have been. YouTuber Adam Mark explores this abandoned mansion. The owner passed away, leaving everything behind. After a while, the place became frozen in time.
There's a little spiraling staircase. You can see the decay on the walls, all the paint peel. Carpet's quite trodden in. Bit grimy. See all the marks up the walls, which lets me think it has been abandoned a while.
The cupboards are full of items that no one will ever read.
But everything is just completely full. Everything's left behind in this one. Old video camera there, look. Very strange.
Adam breaks out the K2 and gets some readings in certain parts of the house.
Right, so we're getting little bits. There we go, here we go. There's something down here. Look at this. Oh my God. Guys, look at this.
Using another paranormal device, Adam is directly warned by the spirits.
Are you the spirit that passed away here? Listen to that, exactly where I thought it would go, by the guitar.
And then he sees something unexplainable.
Did you just show your hand around that wall? Guys, this is so weird. I 1,000,000% have just seen it. It was like a hand reaching around that wall there.
Are Adam's eyes playing tricks on him? I don't think so. This one looks like a real gut punch of fear. Considering this along with all of the spirit communications, I feel that the residents are here after all. What happens when a ghost dislikes the show you're watching on TV? Becky Sims posted this clip of her son Ben to Facebook in 2019. Becky writes, "He kept flinging his arm and kept repeating ta, and look what I captured. I literally couldn't believe what I saw." Ben looks like he's battling with some unseen force that's trying to take the remote. His arms fling back and he shouts, as though something is attempting to yank it out of his hands. At the end of the video, the remote appears to nearly leave his hands entirely, as whatever is grappling with it tries one more time to pull the remote from the kid. Guess this unseen phantom has had enough of Dora the Explorer. Something tells me there's a nicer way to handle that. If you had a chance to visit a haunted hospital, would you? YouTubers Ogden Paranormal became this haunted hospital's reluctant patients when they stepped into Asylum 49. Published to YouTube in September of 2019, Ogden Paranormal wrote, "The old 2L Hospital is one of the most haunted places in Utah, if not the most haunted. This location was made famous by the Ghost Adventures crew, who have now visited twice due to the incredible evidence they captured the first go-around. Ogden has investigated this place several times, and this time they returned to investigate who or what scared them out of the place years prior." A little background on the old 2L Hospital. As one of Utah's major paranormal sites, the underfunded hospital was without a morgue, leaving the passed away stacked and waiting for their paperwork. Patients have stuck around the place, showing themselves even to those retired folk who resided in and what remained of the building. It's said that sightings of ghost children often precede someone's passing. Others believe the child ghosts are actually demons, and they aren't the only spirits that appear there. A nurse in white roams the hallways, a man dressed in black appears at 3 a.m., and a little girl has been known to appear and then vanish. So who did Ogden Paranormal encounter during their investigation? Let's see firsthand. Granted, this asylum has been turned into a haunted house, so much of the creepiness you see in the video is set up to appear that way, but other things can't really be explained. About 4 minutes in, they head into the nursery, where a creepy old lady statue is posed. They are alone back here, or so they think. Look at the window to the left. Something passes beyond, creating a shadow figure in the frame. It moves out of frame once they come nearer the old lady. Later on, two of the crew see a figure down one hallway. As they're slowly making their way down the hallway, a giggle is heard in one of the rooms. The room is empty apart from some freaky mannequins.
Where you at, Wes?
Later, while all gathered in a conference room, they hear footsteps.
What's that?
Have you not moved?
Nope.
You guys heard those footsteps over here, right? I thought that was you, man.
During their ghost box session, spirits are responding with frequency. One tells them good luck repeatedly. And one of the spirits brings up Skittles, which had been part of the conversation on a previous visit to the asylum. Little anomalies and disembodied breathing are also heard throughout the investigation. Makes you wonder, are there spirits here? Or are these mannequins about to come? YouTuber Hassan Barbar is used to encountering mysterious and paranormal anomalies. When he enters a room of this abandoned place, something is hiding beneath the covers.
شو تقولوا انه بني ادم ولا تقولوا انه بني ادم اخوان ولا ايش؟ طب اسمع، طب كيف اخذت الحرام من جوا؟ طب احكي معي انت احكي.
The figure is rocking and moaning, and Hassan gets closer to investigate. As he approaches, he senses something else behind him.
بسم الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
And still he gets closer. After finding the figure has disappeared, Hassan continues to investigate the rest of the home, and something starts to bark at him.
طب اظهر قلب قرد هيو. طب انتوا كم واحد هون؟ كم؟
The thing continues to taunt him.
بسم الله. طب اظهر لي.
Then things grow even more active.
اسمع. طب شو اسمك انت يا قرد؟ شو اسمك؟ ايه؟ اسمك؟
But as to what is making that noise, it never becomes clear. While a lot of this video is mysterious, this cut makes me skeptical. Clearly, there was a cut in the video there, so I assume whatever form was beneath the blanket could escape. Still, I really enjoy the disturbing atmosphere of this investigation. What is this being lurking in the forest? YouTuber Fish On Fish Out returned to his favorite fishing spot with the boys when he spotted this. What was that? I'm not sure what that is. Could it be pareidolia? Maybe, but I think it's a demon lurking, angry that they took his favorite fishing hole. Ghost Club Paranormal is spending the night at a cursed witch's cabin in the middle of the forest, and you better believe that terror unfolds. While attempting to commune with the spirits, they hear them walking overhead.
How many people are here? Do you hear that?
The spirit then confirms its presence.
Upstairs. If that was somebody trying to communicate, can you do that again?
When they set up the spirit box, several paranormal devices are triggered.
Oh, that light just came on.
I just got it.
Are you sitting over by the bar?
Oh, me too.
They question the spirits and are answered.
Did a man die here?
And then the spirits start playing games.
Let's go downstairs again and we'll take this real fast with us.
Hey. You did see that, right?
Did you touch that?
I didn't even touch it.
Are you me right now?
I didn't touch it.
Later, as one of the crew turns on the spirit box, the flashlight dims.
I'm gonna stick this on again real fast.
The spirits are descending.
But we have heard a man.
And they continue to communicate through lights.
What does that matter? Oh. Whoa. Second I put this on night vision, that flashlight just started going like crazy.
And taps.
Was that she that just touched my head?
Tapping again.
Is this the witch trying to get closer to them? Or one of the witch's victims? We've all been there. It's a stormy night. Every sound in the house is an evil entity vying for your soul. That must have been what this man was feeling when he saw this happen in his dining room on a stormy night. The clip shows a man enter his dining room, which appears completely normal. Every chair in place. He enters his laundry room, then casts the camera down the stairs. It appears that something must have happened to cause him to search his house. He says hello down the stairs. Is someone or something there? He decides to go into his basement to investigate. The wooden steps are incredibly rickety. As he's nearing the bottom, a terrifying racket is heard upstairs. He runs for his life, only to find his kitchen chairs precariously stacked up, balanced one on top of the other. The dining room light is swinging around. The shot is still, as the man crosses the room and stands frozen in fear at this ominous sight. The overhead light continues to swing, and nothing is there. There's something especially uneasy about the stacking of this man's furniture. Part of that uneasiness comes from the fact that no human could have done this particular building job in the short period of time that the man was away. Who do you think did it? Or what? A YouTube channel called Mux9 TV goes exploring some extra scary woods in Pakistan late at night when they find some really creepy stuff that leaves them really freaked out. Out of the woods staggers a mysterious figure who refuses to speak for a long time. His eyes look haunting, like he's seen too much in too short a time and has been wandering for days, unable to get it out of his mind. The group does not know how else to help this person, and so they recite some words of faith over him, which works to the extent of scaring him away back to wherever he came from. This doesn't look like a ghost sighting so much as the aftermath of a person who has had a paranormal experience of their own in the forest and has succumbed to madness in the days since. Either way, they're definitely not the type of person you'd want to encounter in the woods, so I bet the group is relieved when he runs away, but at the same time, he could probably use some help. Hopefully he finds peace, but with that scary stare, I don't see how such a thing is going to be possible. Better do it just to be safe. Published by Scary Chills G, this short clip was captured in May of 2010. A man is on his computer facing his webcam when behind him on the bed, his jacket moves. As he turns to look, suddenly his wardrobe bursts open on the other side. He springs from his seat and goes to check it out, seemingly finding nothing. He turns back toward his computer and then sprints from the room in fear, without further explanation. What did he see there? Or was he afraid of what saw him? This video of urban exploration, published by Backyard Exploration in January 2015, is particularly eerie because what's scarier than dark, damp tunnels and nowhere to turn? In the video description, Backyard Exploration writes, "As the city grew, much of the underworld was sealed and forgotten. We infiltrate the sewers in search for this lost history. Unlike many entries on this list, these guys mean business. They are decked out with gear, headlamps, ropes, and safety equipment for sewer exploration, and they will need it. The underground is a dangerous place, and if you're claustrophobic, the tight spaces might give you screaming anxiety. Even worse, if you're squeamish, you might want to sit this one out, as there's loads of wading through raw sewage." The exploration shows the bricked underbelly of the sewage system, along with the sewer rats that scurry across the ground and up the walls. Water trickles down from above as the team continues to trapeze through the dark tunnels. The team crawls and climbs through narrow channels to make sure no stone is left unturned, and at one point, they even walk waist deep in sewage water, which is sometimes calm, sometimes rushing. In some areas, there are massive amounts of cockroaches skittering across the ceiling of the tunnel. All in all, it's pretty much every phobia imaginable in one. As After Dark said in the comments, this is the stuff that nightmares are made of, this tunnel. But fortunately, this nightmare does come to an end. As the video concludes, they exit the sewage tunnel to breathe fresher air and see daylight again. An adventurer in India sees something truly chilling.
खड़ी हुई है अस्तगफिरुल्लाह ये तो वही चुड़ैल है ये कोई औरत खड़ी हुई है नीचे हम छत के ऊपर आए हैं कैमरे उतारने के लिए और ये औरत नीचे खड़ी हुई है भागो इधर से
He diverts his horrified gaze, and when he looks up, it's gone, but not for long.
ये आप देख सकते हैं ये कमरे भी आप देख सकते हैं लॉक किए हुए हैं इन्होंने ये आप सुन सकते हैं
Red blotches on the curtains mark where an apparition has touched the cloth. I did not see these handprints here moments before. He goes outside and finds a drastic change of weather, further evidence of displeasing a powerful spirit.
ये आप देख सकते हैं ये आवाज़ें भी आप सुन सकते हैं
He turns around to go inside for shelter, only to be greeted by the sound of a child's voice through a partially open door.
अभी दोस्तों हम इधर से जा रहे हैं इंशाल्लाह नेक्स्ट टाइम हम जब आएंगे किसी बुजुर्ग को साथ में लेकर आएंगे
He wisely decides to wait out the storm outside and does not go back in. I suppose he figures it would be quicker and less scary to chance it with the lightning, rather than return to whatever poltergeist activity is waiting for him there. Judging from his relatively harmless looking appearance, you'd never be able to tell that this man is as heartless and cruel as one can be. This 3-hour police confession in Anaheim, California, eventually culminates in his admission of taking the lives of 6 homeless men with a blade in less than a month. What strikes me is his calm, almost timid demeanor. He speaks very evenly, and you'd never expect that he was capable of generating the rage needed to plunge the blade into one person more than 60 times.
Really what you were doing is you were helping clean up the county, clean up the area.
In a way, sir, yes.
What's even more repulsive is his sense of obligation and pride while looking back at what he's done. He thinks he was doing the city a service by dispatching the unwanted. It's obvious that he does not value human life and only judges people based on how they look, with absolutely no sympathy for their potential or what they've been through.
Do you think that what you've done is right or wrong?
Wrong, but it had to be done. They were making the place look bad also.
Okay.
He is still awaiting trial and sentencing. Let me know what you think his sentence should be based on the evidence presented before you. I think he would most likely do it again and should probably be kept away from the public. This unnerving doorbell cam footage was taken somewhere in New Mexico. A random person walks up to a house in the middle of the night and just basically goes crazy without warning. They appear to have lost all sense of reason as they first yank on the doorbell cam and then start to scale the wall. It's unclear if they are really trying to gain access to the house itself or if they are just out of their minds and doing whatever spontaneously comes next. After a while, they come back into view and kind of wobble around. This next part sounds like they might have even fallen over, but I'm not exactly sure. Overall, the strange man seems more confused than necessarily looking to cause havoc, but I would still not want to encounter this potential maniac either way. While sitting around playing video games, little did this guy know he was about to be in one. Published by C. Sano Act in November of 2011, this guy was hanging out in the living room when he heard something from the kitchen. Getting up to check it out, he doesn't seem to see anything of substance, but something of substance knocks him to the floor. He's dragged across the room and out of sight. Is this ghost hinting that he should get his homework done? Or does this house have a serious poltergeist in residence? It'd be hard to ignore after an incident like this. After spending a day at the pool with some friends, a YouTuber named Austin Grash decides to explore his girlfriend's creepy basement for fun. They soon discover her basement area has many secret areas that have gone untouched for quite some time.
No, and look to the right and there's a whole door over there.
Listen, that's not concrete, that's hollow.
A series of hidden passageways leads them deeper and deeper underground until they come across a final creepy red door. At this point, they can't shake the feeling that someone has definitely been down here before. Perhaps even very recently, just when they are talking about what could have possibly taken place down here, they see a bad sign.
I want to know why there's chains right there.
Where? I want to know why there's chains everywhere.
If these chains weren't used to shackle somebody in place, then please tell me what they could have been for instead, because honestly, that's the only explanation I have. Eventually, one of them bravely kicks open the mysterious red door to reveal an empty room. There is a cellar door that none of them can pry open, so they give up and head back to the surface. Exactly what is in there is anyone's guess. For all we know, maybe somebody below ground was holding on to the other side. This mysterious capture by YouTuber Gillian Rocher leaves me with many questions. Rocher explains in the description that she saw this strange man outside her window marking a tree.
Nakita niya yung lalaki. Meron siyang pinapahid sa puno. Tago lang tayo onti. Meron Doberman. Ano yung ginagawa niya sa puno? Loko to.
The man can be seen doing something to the tree for a time before grabbing his dog's leash.
Anong plano mo? Anong inaano mo dyan sa puno, ha?
After the stranger left, the YouTuber went to investigate.
So yan. Ano yung ginawa niya kanina rito?
It looks like the guy scraped the bark from one side of the tree, leaving a mark, but for what purpose is still unclear. I'm not sure where this video is filmed, but YouTuber BioCyber suggests that the strange man is a Russian sleeper agent marking a target. This is where my head went to, although I wasn't specifically thinking Russian. This may be a spy or agent marking this site for himself or other agents to later find. What do you think is going on here? While exploring an abandoned paper mill, the crew from YouTube channel Blow6 captured two mysterious events simultaneously, an EVP and an apparition. To me, the apparition is clear as day. You see it emerge from the right to the center of the screen, as if it's drifting down the tunnel, but the EVP is not as clear. It sounds like a bird cawing. That's not the only mysterious thing about this clip. I also noticed a strange flicker in the light at the beginning of the video. Watch the backlight closely. Was that a camera glitch? Or is some entity fiddling with the light switch? I think this phantom is up to something. Timothy Bartlett is exploring a water park that's haunted by a former guest named Billy.
Hi, is anybody here? Hi, Billy. I'm here.
Things are about to get real creepy real fast. Watch.
Could you move something again for me? Oh. Holy sh**.
A chair moves on its own accord upon Timothy's request for Billy the Ghost to move an object and prove himself to be real. Paranormal activity is possible, but the low quality resolution could easily hide a string if there was one. This was not done on purpose, as the resolution is average quality for a 2012 phone camera video, so maybe it's real. A synagogue in Ukraine captured something absolutely creepy and mysterious. A brilliant ball of light floating ominously near the synagogue wall. The authentic video shows the ball of light floating down to hover, swaying back and forth slightly in one place. It stays there for a moment, glowing its mystery, until it flies upward again, disappearing forevermore. The ball of light isn't a perfectly circular orb. In fact, it looks almost gelatinous, as its shape changes slightly in its hovering, with protuberances bulging slightly here and there. So what is this light? What could it be? Scientists are baffled and can't seem to find any explanation for it, leaving explanations up to popular opinion. These opinions range from a lightning ball to a reflection of infrared light to someone's very soul. Jewish people were ordered to gather here before they were sent off to camps in WW2, so the possibility of it being someone's soul looks promising. I wouldn't be surprised if souls abounded here. The truth is, we'll likely never know what was the source of this light, and we probably weren't meant to know. If you hear something at 3 a.m., pretend like you didn't. Otherwise, this could be the end result.
I hear something. Hold on.
It looks like an animal outside at first, but it clearly isn't. I think it might be a skinwalker feasting on this person's pets. Is that what skinwalkers do? Better hold your pet close tonight. Sometimes anger comes in the form of a crazy woman guarding her property. For YouTuber Jack Z in May of 2018, this was the case. Jack explains that he and his friends were riding along a trail they'd never explored. It led to a stranger's property, but it wasn't clear that they were on private property, as there weren't signs or fences around it, and in the video, it really doesn't appear private. It looks like a forest, a free-for-all. According to Jack, as they were heading out, a woman came out of nowhere and started confronting them.
I'm sorry, get off!
I'm sick and tired of you, bull!
This is the first time I'm here!
Bull! You guys are here all the time,
No, it's
scaring
not
my horses!
Grabbing hold of Jack's backpack to throw him off balance, which led him to busting his brake on a downed tree that was in front of him. As he climbs out from under his bike, she can be heard screaming at his friends as well. She then gets in his face, saying that him and his friends are there every weekend on her private property, scaring her horses. Jack writes, "Moral of the story is to be careful of what trails you choose to follow. It seems to me that this chilling event was just one big misunderstanding, and I hope this woman doesn't choose to act this way in similar future situations." If you've ever wondered whether or not exorcisms are real, here is your answer. Published to YouTube in April of 2020, the supposedly possessed woman in the video is making hissing and rasping noises as her exorcist lays a hand on her. Another young man holds her wrists. She opens her mouth like a snake, ready to strike, while she continues to hiss and rasp at them. In a second clip, her expression appears almost normal for a moment, but a second later, her eyes roll into the back of her head, and she hisses strangely, arching her back until her body is up from the couch. Before slumping over, like the demon has left her. You may be skeptical about possessions, but this woman does not look like she is acting. We can only hope the demon did leave and is gone for good. Sometimes when you're looking for the passed on, you find the living. Published by H.D. Adam in February of 2022. This paranormal crew faces off with a very angry, alive dude. While exploring what they think is an abandoned building, they first see this strange image reflected in a window. It looks like an angry face, but are we just imagining that? A minute later, the face remains. One of the crew goes to check an adjacent door. After finding it locked, he turns away. A moment later, something bangs loudly on the door. Continuing on, they open the door to another room and find this mysterious man sitting in the darkness. The man seems angry. He stands up and starts yelling at them. He tells the crew to get out of his house, and they are soon pushed out with force. Next time, they'd better be sure no one's home.
Çık lan dışarı çık. Yemiş memini evinden çıkacağım zaten. Çık çık. Kadına sen yaptın. Lan çık oğlum çık. Dışarı çık. Çıkarım bırak. Çık dışarı. Lan.
This video of a girl brushing her teeth is said to have been found behind a dumpster by a nearby worker taking a break. Deep voices on the tape sound like they must have been slowed down, but her toothbrush sounds normal, so I don't know what's going on here at all. After 14 seconds of this, movement is heard off camera, and she is ambushed by something that sounds not of this world. I get the impression that she was not aware that she was being recorded because she never looks at the camera. Maybe it was even taken on the other side of a one-way mirror or through a hole in the wall. A YouTuber named Shondurez decides to go ghost investigating with his friends at their studio office, which is apparently haunted. They meet up at 2 a.m. and are talking about what they should do next when something in the next room over wrecks their plans.
What actually was that?
Approximately 10 seconds later, this sound fills the building. Listen to it and tell me if you think it's real or edited.
Wait, shh. Legit.
By now, they are pretty much freaking out and ready to take off, but the spirit isn't quite through with them yet. You'll see absolutely nobody was nearby when this happens, which makes me think it could be real. All of the lights shut off before they get a chance to leave. One of them turns the camera light on just in time to see their friend blankly staring at them from the ground. I guess he could just be acting, and one of his friends pulled him by his feet, but that still doesn't explain this actual ghost sighting at the very end.
Let's go!
I think this could be real because the raw adrenaline sends his friend barreling straight through a door. There is a powerful figure on this roof, and it's united the villagers in rebellion. Posted on TikTok by Tati Catalina, this scary video shows a large dark figure dominating this rooftop. Anyone who dares near it seems to be blown back, either by her power or from fear. Watch. All those who try to reach the roof fail, and the figure doesn't seem to be bothered by them. They're even throwing things at the figure, but with one great pop, she disappears. Is this dark magic in the round? I'm not sure if this was a witch or some other mysterious creature, but I am sure she's managed to traumatize these villagers for life. When a poltergeist displays his candor over a period of several days, you gotta see it for what it is, a permanent unwanted house guest. Published to YouTube in October of 2019, this video shows a series of poltergeist activities occurring in this couple's kitchen. On day 4, the salt and pepper shakers sitting on the kitchen countertop start to move slightly, then the salt falls over altogether. On day 8, the couple is in the kitchen. The woman is cooking something and sets the hand blender on the counter. It's turned off. She goes to the fridge to retrieve an egg, and this happens. She drops the egg in fright, while the man calmly turns off the blender. On day 24, the man enters his kitchen to get a glass of water. His back turned to the stove. One of the burners suddenly turns on of its own accord. A pan on the stove slowly slides over to the lit burner, again all on its own. The man just stands there drinking his water, watching this happen. He takes 2 eggs from the fridge and sets them on the counter, inviting the poltergeist to cook. Maybe this is the best way to go about living with a poltergeist. Just accept that you have a third, somewhat mischievous roommate. A 4-year-old is happily drinking his juice until for some reason the straw stops working. His protective parents get a bad feeling and curiously inspect the package to see what's wrong.
And this is what it's inside. Nasty.
A thick green clump of sludge clings to the bottom and blocks the straw. Slowly, they realize their child has been unknowingly sucking on what could be a giant floating piece of moldy gel. As if that wasn't bad enough, the father flips it over with a straw to reveal an even worse looking underside.
Ew. Oh my god.
Again. Look at that.
The alien-looking growth is probably loaded with bacteria and far from safe to consume. So if you've ever been enjoying a packaged drink and the straw stopped working, I guess you now know a reason why. This video of a girl brushing her teeth is said to have been found behind a dumpster by a nearby worker taking a break. Deep voices on the tape sound like they must have been slowed down, but her toothbrush sounds normal, so I don't know what's going on here at all. After 14 seconds of this, movement is heard off camera, and she is ambushed by something that sounds not of this world. I get the impression that she was not aware that she was being recorded because she never looks at the camera. Maybe it was even taken on the other side of a one-way mirror or through a hole in the wall. An Australian deep-sea fisher named Cavi brings aboard a sea creature he's never seen before. An unknown fish with a face too bizarre to put into words. It's bugging out as much as they are, eyes and tongue ready to burst. It's probably puffing up to scare them, and doesn't look like this all the time, or at least I hope not. Nobody has been able to figure this one out, so maybe you can explain to them what kind of fish this is. A woman is approached by a stranger in a store and they talk for a few moments. She thinks it's kind of strange, so she watches where he goes, only to find the man is now standing by her bike.
I don't know, and then he just walked over to my bike.
They talk about the bike for a while, but the conversation is really awkward. I don't know what he says here, so tell me what you hear him say in response to this question.
Are you riding it today?
Not right now.
No, not
I'm with my wife.
Oh, okay. All right.
I just around the dentist and it's kind of fuzzy.
I'm not sure if I heard him right, but I think he says that he just came from the dentist and is feeling fuzzy, so I guess this means they numbed him and maybe gave him something strong, which could explain the general weirdness to begin with. You can tell she's trying to steer the conversation to a close, but he doesn't seem to take the hint and it's about to get even weirder.
All right. I was just, you had asked me, what I was riding, so I came out just
I saw you walk in with a helmet and your jacket.
Yeah.
Right.
He doesn't give her a chance to say no before he's on the bike to see how it feels.
Perfect. Yep.
You don't mind.
No, just don't drop it, please, all right?
Maybe this is a biker thing that I don't understand, but this seems about as creepy as if somebody wanted to get inside of my car to see how the interior feels. Let me know if you ride a bike how you would feel about this stranger encounter. Eventually, she has to excuse herself, but it's weird how he's still looking intently at her bike.
All right, so nice meeting you, nice talking with you.
She eventually walks away, and even though he walks with her, tell me if you think he was making friendly conversation or up to something, because I don't know what was on his mind. Exorcist Pierre Dulong is a trusted member of French society. In this video clip, a 19-year-old hairdresser is seen being exorcised of a demon. This took place in Gers, began with a pendulum stroke, through which Dulong detected the woman's possession. She screamed, growled, grunted, spit, convulsed, and foamed at the mouth. She also spoke in Spanish, not her mother tongue. Her eyes rolled back in her head as she shook and convulsed. Although the demon fought it the whole way, in the end, the good won. The woman finished with a calm smile and feeling at ease, but sometimes even Dulong can't rid a person of this. He says honesty is the foundation of his reputation, admitting, when I cannot do anything, I announce it right away. Hopefully, for the sake of the possessed, this is rarely the case. While exploring this haunted place, YouTuber Rodolfo Augusto and his crew are trying to escape the creature. Let's see if they do. They find a mysterious jar inside the home, but as they're examining it, a bang is heard.
Alguém abre?
Não sei. Opa, cacete.
Quem tá aí?
Eu acho que é o vento, mano. Tá vendo? Ó, olha ali, ó.
They try to open the jar, but again hear a noise.
Não é vento, não.
Você vai tacar um negócio?
Foi reação.
They push this door open, but are too scared to enter.
Tem alguém aqui? Ui! Isso aí não é vento, não.
and yet it won't stop.
Que aquilo, velho? Que é aquilo ali na porta?
That's when they finally see it.
Eu vi.
That's all I need for my dreams to forever be nightmares. Number 15, Stalkers. Welcome to the inner workings of a broken down mental hospital, recorded live to Facebook by Hammy TV. This creepy video takes you on a tour through the extreme ward of Medfield State Hospital, developed over the turn of the 20th century. The 58-building complex held a max of 2,200 patients and was a filming location for such films as Shutter Island and The Box. According to Wikipedia, trespassing between dark and sunrise is strictly forbidden, so these boys aren't exactly following the law. One especially creepy fact about this asylum is that it has 841 grave sites, all of which are numbered instead of named. In fact, Boy Scouts in the area made it their Eagle Scout service project to find the correct names of all buried and their dates of passings. If that wasn't creepy enough, watch what happens during this tour of evil. The crew is heading to the 3rd floor, where there were allegedly a few passings. As they're trying to decide how to get up the very broken stairs, the camera pans the upper floor. Keep your eye on the hallway. A shadow person very clearly crosses the threshold, a shadow that apparently the crew didn't see in reality, as they have no reaction to it whatsoever. I'm sure when they watched this video in playback they did. I'm not sure if anyone noticed until it was pointed out in the Facebook comments, but now that it's been spotted, I think this paranormal sighting is terrifying. The team from Casa Sobrenatural is visiting a house with a malignant demon in this scary clip. At first, they think they see something.
É muito assustador, velho.
Ah, vai se lascar.
Vocês escutaram? Killer.
Por Deus, você não mexeu aquela...
O quê? O que mexeu?
Por Deus, que mexeu, Sandro.
Mexeu o quê, Der?
Mexeu a cadeira, por Deus, seu Sandro. Você não viu, Sozinho? Eu vi, cara, eu escutei.
And then that something makes its presence known.
Por Deus, sabe mexer? Não, Der, acho que você tava vendo alguma coisa aqui. Meu Deus do céu! Filho da puta, cara, que é isso, cara?
When they dare to enter, things get more aggressive.
Meu Deus do céu, cara! Sai, sai, sai! Meu Deus do céu, tio!
O que bateu lá, cara? Jesus amado, bateu, cara.
What is inside? They think it's over, but the demon has one last scare in store for them.
Hã? Pare com isso, cara. Não guarda aqui. Caralho, mexeu a cadeira de novo. Escutou? Eu escutei. Escutou que... Meu Deus do céu. Cara, arrastou essa cara. Vamos embora. Vamos embora, pelo amor de Deus. Pelo amor de Deus, vamos rezar. Cara do céu, velho.
In my opinion, there's something truly evil in this house. You can just feel it. A TikToker named Sarimar Munez finds herself laid out across the floor in surprise at this ghost sighting, which she is about to point out in a moment. She is singing a musical when a small gray face pokes into the shot and then retreats. The way it moves on its way out looks better than most edited videos, so either she put a lot of effort into this one, or as much as I wish it wasn't, maybe it's real. A YouTuber named Cup Stewart lives on the cusp of the rainforest in Indonesia. Tonight he is investigating rumors of a small creature haunting the woods to see if it's real. He goes exploring where the creature was last seen and lays a trap. After a while, something with a white face and long hair comes out of the forest and lowers into the cage.
Nice, mantap. Tuh, dia mau bawa kandang terbang tuh, cuman nggak bisa dia keberatan sepertinya tuh, Pak. Bisa bawa terbang kandang itu nggak, soalnya dia kandang mau dibawa terbang nih, Pak. Tunggu aja lainnya, kita tunggu. Oke, aja.
From the woods approaches a tall figure. a man rumored to live isolated from the rest of the island. He subdues one of them, and while Cup Stewart is checking on the condition of his friend, the stranger lets his pet humanoid creature free from its cage and runs extremely fast out of sight. This video has over 8 million views and about half the people think it really happened. I honestly can't say I agree. For one, the creature pretty obviously looks like a puppet in my opinion. I think somebody wearing black is standing behind this cage and moving it around with their arms. They also put the camera really far away from the cage. Almost anyone would put the camera right up there. They keep it far away in my opinion because it probably looks too fake close up. The man running away looks kind of weird, but it could be sped up or special effects. Even though this video is fake in my opinion, I'm including this on the list because it's gone viral and deserves an honest analysis. Tell me if you think it has any possibility of being real. No, this is not about a grizzly bear wading into a river. This is about a human named Bear taking his show Man vs. Wild to the extreme and venturing out into Alligator River, which is full of, you guessed it, alligators. If you're familiar with Man vs. Wild, you know that Bear Grylls' thing is to take a dive into situations where he might not come out alive on the other side. Instead of cracking under pressure, he uses his survival experience and his sense of humor to walk viewers through the experience with him, often with some educational bits thrown in here and there. Although the show's premise is founded on situations like this scary moment when Bear enters an alligator-ridden river is probably one of the most grating and fearsome ever on television. As Bear wades in, he nonchalantly tells viewers that alligators likely see humans as turtles or other prey, and they'll take you down like it's nothing. He would be a snapped twig if the huge reptile was to get him, which it could at any moment. Bear looks frightened as he dives in, knife in hand. Viewers watch, holding their breath, as Bear crosses the murky waters, but thankfully he makes it across without incident. Breathe freely. Sometimes fear is all in the build-up. A YouTuber named RevoX encounters a wild pheasant in the graveyard that is not at all afraid. The colorful bird looks over its shoulder to make sure he is watching, and then takes the lead, guiding him someplace quite important that I'll reveal in just a moment. It hops off the road, and at 1 minute and 8 seconds, walks this little beaten trail of matted grass.
Have you ever seen anything like it before?
That's been trampled over many times before. The determined little bird stops and circles back to the human, again showing absolutely no signs of fear. It even looks straight at him, at the end like it knows what is being said.
There's my mum's grave, and it will remain, as it has done for the past few days, going round and round it.
So is this a real spirit guide or just a pet? Some Native Americans believed pheasants to be a sign of protection and concealment because they like to bury themselves in tall grass. A creepy behavior when taken within the context of a graveyard. They can be tamed, but even if this is a pet, I don't think you can teach it to lead you somewhere for over a minute, and I never see it get a food treat as a reward or anything, so I think it's real. Throngs of people gather in the mountain province of Guizhou, China, to witness strange trumpet sounds in the sky. As you listen, tell me what this is and why it would happen way out in the middle of nowhere. The group hears 4 strange noises in a row, and yet none of them actually sees anything scary in the sky. But that's not all. The phenomenon, known as sky trumpets, is only the first phase. Soon the mountain range is filled with the sounds of a giant unknown creature, an enormous wild cat that's heard all over but seen by no one. And the final phase sounds like 2 giant creatures clashing. There's a clear victor, and one of them sounds like they are falling from the sky. Modern science cannot explain what's behind these noises, which makes you wonder if there's any semblance of truth behind the various ancient mythologies that speak of similar events. Zayneo barely manages to turn his live stream on and say hello before something unexplainably paranormal happens behind him. The window somehow goes from being tightly shut to wide open in less than 10 seconds without a sound. If I'm not mistaken, this type of window doesn't even open from the outside, meaning that somebody had to be standing in the room to even push it open. Zayneo quickly searches his house in less than a minute and finds no one else's home, but when he crosses into the living room, the batteries in his smoke alarm go off for no reason at all. I know this part is real because this is the first time you hear the smoke alarm beep in the entire video.
Okay. Ooh, okay. Smoke alarm malfunction?
The smoke alarm going off, combined with the window opening by itself, is enough to convince me that this is probably paranormal. When somebody finds a spider in their home, some people would swat it on the spot with the nearest object, while others would try to find some way to let it go outside. Then there are a small percentage who would grab a camera and let the spider crawl all over them, like Feo 3 here.
Oh yeah. I got a spider crawling on me.
He never intended for the arachnid to take a detour across his throat and then stamp its way across his face. He manages to stay calm and only has one thing to ask.
And it's crawling on my face, isn't it?
Why, yes it is. Right towards your ear hole, unfortunately. Thinking fast, he tries to divert the spider away from his ear, but ends up encouraging it to almost burrow straight inside. He is so lucky that the spider decides not to do that, because that would have been a horrible trip to the hospital for sure. Not that having a spider in your hair is any consolation prize, but you get what I mean. If you've ever worked night security, human activity is likely the most you've ever had to worry about. Working security in India is another story, published by World of Wildlife and more in January of 2018. This security guard couldn't believe his eyes when he encountered a big cat roaming the Mumbai neighborhood at night. Captured at nearly 1 in the morning, the security guard is seen sitting on a plastic chair, probably trying his best to keep awake. The street is quiet. Just as the car approaches, so does an enormous leopard. The big cat looks like he's aiming toward the guard, but as he sees the car's light, the leopard rushes across the street instead and leaps up and out of sight. Wrapped in a blanket, the security guard goes to check it out, likely thinking he dozed off and was imagining things. After looking for the cat for a moment, the security guard walks off camera and returns with a big stick. The video ends before viewers see if he was forced to use it, but hopefully the leopard didn't stick around. The man was lucky the car showed up just in time. He could have been that leopard's lunch. The historic Jefferson has plenty of haunting footage. This clip is one of the most chilling, captured by a guest staying in the doll room. The footage shows one of the room's many dolls coming to life. First, watch behind the pillow.
It just peers out like that for about a minute. That movement though.
Something peers out. It's one of the dolls. A moment later, the doll falls over. This is the doll in question. The staff shares its creepy history.
It does have history to it. Typically, we'll put the doll here just to make it look kind of creepy, but we've had several guests say that the doll's not there, and we'll come and look, and the doll will be behind the chair. One time, that was.
The doll is creepy just looking at it, but this footage on top of its history of innate creepiness ensures that I can't handle staying in the doll room. A famous Malaysian YouTuber caught some supremely scary moments on live stream that have left him and all of his followers really freaking out. It's just another normal night at his house, spending time with roommates, when they get an idea to see who is the bravest. They've been suspecting their house was haunted for a long time, and dare each other to go room to room with the lights off. The first 2 rooms are fine, but just when it looks like this was all for nothing, some scary things are caught on camera. Standing in the corner of the room is a silent spirit that Malaysian culture refers to as a pokong. A sighting of one of these spirits can be seen as a cry for help. They need to have someone undo their shroud so within 40 days, they can be freed from this world. With that in mind, I really don't blame him from running away instead of running forward. I don't think I would have the courage to undo its binds and withstand the rotten figure beneath. Seeing one in their own home must have been terrifying. Did this YouTuber capture skinwalkers in a screaming match? While wandering through Gila National Forest, mysterious wailing echoed all around him. As the cameraman stood waiting, he heard the screams again. They were so terrifying, they spun him around. And again. But where is it coming from? And to whom does this wailing belong? Skinwalkers? Or something else entirely? I think I'm going to stay far away from that forest. A YouTube channel called Proper Good Games is streaming Pokemon. When a game goes flying across the room off camera.
I thought when people ate quail, it was like eating a fancy.
They are both looking at each other and not moving at all when it happens, so it could not have been them. Then what she says next makes me feel like this happens all of the time. Do you believe her?
I'm not lying when I say ghost follow me around, right?
And when he goes to pick up the game, he lets out a gasp as the temperature into this part of the room suddenly grows very cold. Again, is this real or just good acting?
It's really cold weather, isn't it?
Sure, it actually is.
A ghost hunter doesn't even get his equipment fully set up before he detects a paranormal presence on camera. Look how quickly this shadow moves by. The shadow moves way too fast and also turns in the opposite direction as he does, meaning it can't belong to him. Here's the shadow from a second angle, this time taken from the handheld camera. Clearly, this shadow is caused by something off camera, but whether it's human or not is up for you to decide. A YouTuber named Elton Minea Severo is recording a webcam video when a phone call interrupts him. It looks like he might sense that something is nearby when he is talking, but he is too distracted by the conversation to give it much more than a moment's thought. As soon as he hangs up the phone, a white moon-shaped face peeks in from around the corner. It surveys the room for a bit before ducking down and leaping out of sight when Elton turns around, at which point you can momentarily see some kind of weird body with short arms and legs. There is a chance that all of this could be edited, but before you immediately think this is fake, keep in mind that it was recorded in 2006, so pretty much all webcam videos looked grainy like this. If anything, this was a pretty high quality video for its time, especially considering YouTube was less than 2 years old when it was uploaded, so who knows what it could have been. A YouTuber named Stromedy and his friend journey into a maze of tunnels deep underground to conjure the spirit of a girl who supposedly had her life forcibly taken down there long ago. They don't appear to be very serious in the beginning, but their attitude soon changes when they think they've summoned a relatively friendly spirit named Abby. Then roughly 9 minutes into the video, they feel another presence enter and this happens.
Oh dude, it's doing figure eights again.
What?
Can you stop? Can you please? Yeah.
Holy.
That's freaking creepy. I'm gonna ask it. Whoa!
They briefly consider leaving, but then Kyle volunteers to look through the middle of the pointer instead. Earlier, Abby said whoever does this will be able to see her true form. Kyle bravely puts the pointer to his eye and peers into the unknown.
Kyle, you there, bro? Kyle. Dude, seriously. Dude.
Let's just go. Let's go back. I know what you mean now. Let's go back.
Did you see her? What'd you see?
Let's go grab the board and let's go.
I think his reaction seems fairly genuine, but let me know if you agree or not. Can a person passing away stop the clocks? This video posted by LMonkA7X to the Ghosts subreddit calls that into question. Monk explains in the comments that his partner was working the night shift at the hospital when a patient passed at 3:11 a.m. Porters arrived to transport the body around 45 minutes later. Not long after, a nurse was logging the passing in the computer when she observed a clock's hand spinning rapidly. The passing was logged into the computer at 4:10 a.m. and a minute later the clock stopped spinning at 4:11 a.m., exactly an hour after the man's passing. While Monk admits to ordinarily being a skeptic, his partner's reaction to what happened, as well as everyone else's in the ward, convinced him that this was no practical joke, this was real. All who paid witness to the odd timing were shaken up over it. Being that the clock is analog and not digital, Monk suggests it's strange that the clock stopped on the exact right time of day after going berserk. He also believes that the whole thing was paranormal, being that the clock's actions coincided with the passing of the patient and the processes surrounding it. What do you think? Coincidence or not? The people of Reddit are on both sides of the fence. Either way, the timing couldn't have been creepier. Do you want to play a game? Posted to the Ghosts subreddit by responsible@8836. This guard in Mexico often hears noises at night while on watch. He recorded this one while on patrol. While walking the grounds at night, he heads around the building when what looks like a man's head pops out from around the corner. The guard chases it around the corner, but there's nothing there.
Escucho a alguien. Su puta madre, su puta madre. Su puta madre, su puta madre.
The Redditor also posted a frame-by-frame video to better see the figure. Many in the comments are clearly surprised. Some point out there are no feet, while others suggest it's a gray extraterrestrial. Still, others say it looks like it's playing a game. Do you want to play? I suggest that guard heads back in the other direction. Thank you so much for getting me to 40,000 subscribers here on my Clips channel. If you want to support, please press that subscribe button. Can you help me reach 50,000 subscribers? Thank you.